Hello, everyone. This is Matt Barron, and welcome to the Daily Dose of Awesome. Today is May 8th, 2019, and this is actually going to be a little bit of a different DDOA. See, because as the person, the EMP that runs the traffic and coaches so many of the traffic students, there were some, found out there were some changes to the algorithm that happened yesterday, the changes to the Facebook traffic algorithm. And I decided that I was going to use this DDOA to communicate this to you. So I'm actually not on camera today because I made a little bit of a presentation for you guys. And essentially, I wasn't able to quite figure out how to do that with Zoom in time for the presentation today because we had to do this last minute. But needless to say, you will get a lot out of this DDOA today, because what we're going to do is I'm going to go over the updates and then how you need to be using these as best practices within your within your videos that you create for Facebook. So essentially, I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to go into Facebook video ranking and just make sure the screen share is working, everything is set up, and go ahead and click on Start Presentation. Okay, so essentially some changes happened the other day to Facebook's algorithm in terms of video ranking. And you might be asking, well, okay, video ranking, I thought organic was dead on Facebook. And that's not necessarily the case, especially when it comes to video. You know, so much of Facebook's news feed right now is being focused more and more on video. So if you create great content, there are actually ways that you can get organic rankings from your fan page again. And that is through creating good videos. So there's three main areas that are impacted with regards to getting more views organically on Facebook for your video. And one is loyalty intent. And here's what Facebook actually says about this. It says intent and repeat viewership are important factors we consider when surfacing videos to people in newsfeed. Going forward, we will add more weight in ranking to videos that people seek out and return week after week. Now, what exactly does that mean? So how do we increase that loyalty and intent? Well, you want to create videos that people are going to refer back to. And there's a couple ways that Facebook's going to measure that. One is obviously if you watch the video twice, but also if you save the videos. Now, I do this with a lot of ads, for example, and also I do this with some native posts I see various gurus and people that I follow on Facebook post that I find valuable, but maybe I don't get a chance to read it all, or maybe I'm just not in a place where I want to read it all, or maybe it's like, I think this is really good. I've got to save this again and go back over it again. So saving those things that people want to save. Such content might be a list of actionable items, for example, or a case study. If you want to talk about how you achieved a certain result, like how you got 10 people into your messenger off of an organic post that you made on your newsfeed. Your video should really have a purpose to it, and that video, the viewer should get a benefit out of it. So you want to, a good example might be 7 ways to get leads on autopilot. You know, the benefit would be that these are different methods that the viewer can use to go ahead and get leads without having to actively prospect, okay? A bad would be how to overcome fear. That's very general, that's very basic, and people would probably want to know why or what benefit that would have to overcome. You know, everybody talks about fear. It's not a very specific type of action that you could get from going ahead and watching this video. So essentially, you want to be very specific with it, and you want to have a very specific result. You want to optimize your content for video search. Includes, you want to write clear titles and also descriptions for your posts, and include a few relevant tags in there as well. So make sure your title is very clear. For example, 7 ways to get leads on autopilot. That's exactly what I would make the title right there. I might write a little 1-sentence description with that as well. So they should know exactly what they're going to get when they watch the video. It can be educational for them, but make sure like it's a benefit driven. So they'll want to go back and say, hey, I've got these 7 ways. I'm going to try one now, but there's 6 more in here. I want to make sure to save this. So they're going to go ahead and save this. In Facebook, that type of post because you're getting that type of reaction that people want to keep coming back to your video. They're going to give you an organic boost in your newsfeed and other people's newsfeeds. Now, the next one is based on video viewing and duration. Now, Facebook says, as we've shared in the past, it's important to ensure that videos capture viewers' attention for at least 1 minute. We'll add more weight in ranking to videos that keep people engaged, especially on videos that are at least 3 minutes long. Now, exactly what does this mean? What essentially it means is the first minute of your video is crucial. And now the reader must be compelled to watch within the first 5 seconds. Now think about how when you're scrolling through your Facebook news feed, you're not stopping to watch every video. You're typically stopping and saying, okay, well, maybe if this doesn't catch my eye in the first 3 to 5 seconds, I'm out of here. So you want to give them a compelling reason to watch while they're scrolling through their newsfeed, so they stop and they pay attention to you. So how can you accomplish this? Well, you want to have an accurate transcription. So Facebook will automatically do a transcription of your video when you go ahead and do a live, for example. But you can go back in your video and edit that transcription. And while Facebook, the voice technology is much better than it used to be, it's still not perfect. So you'll want to make sure at least the first minute has an accurate transcription in there. That means that it matches exactly what's coming out of your mouth, that when you go back in and edit the transcription. You also want to immediately announce the benefit that the viewer should get out of it, why they should be watching. What we were talking about in the last slide, for this example, 7 ways to get leads on autopilot, you would want to mention that within the first 5 seconds of your video. So when somebody's scrolling through and they see your video pop up and they see right away in the transcription, 7 ways to get leads on autopilot, they're going to stop and say, oh crap, I can use this. The next one would be to immediately announce the benefit. We just went through that one. One thing you don't want to do, spend the first minute getting comfortable, getting situated with your camera, saying hi to everyone and asking them where you're from. Now, there's a very, this is kind of interesting because, if you've built up an audience, for example, let's say you've built up an audience and you're really known for interacting with your audience. I don't necessarily think that taking time to say hi and welcome everybody, especially if you've know that a lot of people are watching from your audience, that's a bad thing. You're building that relationship with them. But if you don't have an audience, for example, if nobody knows who you are, if you're just starting out, not that many people are going to be probably watching your videos to begin with. And also, nobody's really going to care. Nobody is going to be compelled to watch you taking a minute and saying, hey, let me know where you're from. Because quite frankly, they don't care where the rest of your audience is from. Your viewer cares only about themselves. They don't care about you. They don't care about the rest of your audience. They care about them. So also, don't spend the first minute getting comfortable. Be ready to go when you publish that live on that video. If somebody's scrolling through the news feed and it looks like you're fiddling around with your camera, they're not going to be compelled to stop and watch your video. They'll not even know what the point of your video is. They're going to scroll right on by. Be ready to go when you do your video. Don't, as Facebook's great for amateur video, but don't look like too much of an amateur. Don't start your video without some sort of plan. This goes back to what I was saying before, but if you're just winging it, if you don't know what you're talking about, and you're going, then you're not doing a good job getting your viewers' attention right away. And they're not going to understand why they need to be watching your video. So make sure you have some sort of a plan, maybe an outline. You definitely don't need to script your videos. I don't think you need to. But at the end of the day, you want to at least have a starting point and end point and know the topics that you're going to cover, guys. Know what value you're going to bring to your audience. 2, you want to inspire people to have meaningful back and forth, respectful discussion in the comments. So when you make a point, for example, ask them, have you ever experienced this before? When you're talking about, going to a coffee shop and trying to prospect people into a coffee shop and having everybody just hate you, or here's another good one, sitting in a coffee shop for 2 hours waiting for a prospect that never shows up. Guys, have you ever had that sort of problem with somebody? I know I didn't put this the right way, but have you ever been in that sort of situation before? How'd that make you feel? stuff like that. You want to inspire people, and they'll comment on your post. Okay, they'll comment below, and those genuine comments are going to give more organic weight to your video, and it's going to be able to show up more and more in other people's news feeds. Do not use engagement bait. Now, do not be asking people to share in order to win a prize. That's essentially engagement bait. Something to do that's okay would be, for example, share, guys, do this on the video. Share if you think this was helpful. Share with your friends if you think somebody could benefit with this. That's okay. Don't say comment below or share with other people below, and I'm going to pick one person that's going to win a coaching call with me, or I'm going to pick one person to give them a Kindle or something along those lines. So that sort of thing, that would be considered sharing bait. And also, or the last one is originality. So Facebook says, last year, we announced that we would limit distribution for unoriginal or repurposed content from other sources with limited or immaterial added value, as well as demote content from pages that are involved in sharing schemes. We'll more strongly limit distribution and monetization for this kind of content. So what does this mean? How do you increase your originality? Well, sharing schemes apply to clickbait. So when we say sharing schemes, this means things like listicles, for example. So it'll be stuff you see on these sites like Viral Nova, or this child wandered into the lion's den in the zoo. Look what happens next. Stuff like that, where that you're really baiting to be able to get people to share. Content mills that publish a lot of content that is essentially clickbait. This is not the same as asking viewers to share in your video. That is perfectly fine to do it if they say something like, please share if you provide value. So do not, in terms of duplicate content, do not post duplicate content on your page. So what does this mean in terms for Elite Marketing Pro and how you do things, for example, with the Daily Dose of Awesome? So what would be okay? So let's say that Brandy Shaver, for example, goes and does a really incredible Daily Dose of Awesome, and you want to share that with a link on your page, or you want to share that with somebody you thought would be really helpful. That's perfectly okay. You can share that on your personal page. You can share that on your fan page. What you cannot do is download it, try to download it, or do a screen record of it, and then publish it to your own page as if it were your own content. Okay, do you understand that, guys? You do not want to download or publish it to your own page as if it were your own content. Sharing is fine. Downloading and publishing is not, because Facebook then views that as duplicate content. Okay, so just make sure that if you ever want to share something to your page, you're sharing the original post that person, the original creator, has done. And just to follow below, like I said, post your own content. If you're going to post something on your page, it needs to be original. It can't be somebody else's that you've gone and ripped. Sharing is fine again, but if you go ahead and post a video, an actual video to your page, make sure that it is your own. And finally, there's a link right up here, and I will take and copy this and put this in the comments below the video right here. But essentially, this goes more into understanding how video distribution works on Facebook and how you can create videos that are going to get more organic reach, and then also the type of stuff that's actually going to hurt your video distribution as well. So with that said, guys, it is now 12:15, and that is all I have for the Daily Dose of Awesome. I hope you got value out of this today. This is a little bit different, I understand, but at the same time, this was an important update I wanted to give you guys, and I thought using the Daily Dose of Awesome for this was a good opportunity. And if you see somebody making some mistakes on some videos, if they're asking questions, feel free to go ahead and you can tag them below in this particular thing if you think this would help them. And so that's a really good example, just to say, that's a really good example of how you'd want to share your original video, or how you'd want to share a video. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great Wednesday, and see you guys later.